Celtics Post-Game Live is presented by your New England Ford dealers, built Ford Tough.
All right, Celtics Post-Game Live. Celtics falling 116-101 in Milwaukee, a game in which they led by 7 at the half. They were 11 of 23 from 3 to start, then went 3 of 26 the remainder of the game, including 16 straight misses from behind the arc. Tom Giles, Chris Forsberg, Eddie House. Eddie, your opening thoughts on this one where Celtics put up 67 points in the first half, 34 in the second half.
Well, it wasn't about the points they were able to put up in the first half and the lack of points they were able to put up in the second half. It was the lack of defense that they had in the second half. You look at what Milwaukee was able to do, shoot damn near 60% from the field, 58%, and 45 from 3. And this is not, Milwaukee came in knowing that they could shoot the 3. They're going to shoot the 3. But we didn't do anything to defend it in the second half. I thought that our defense was lackluster. We allowed our lack of making shots to affect us on the defensive end. And that's always been the issue. When we talk about this team for the last few years, it's always been you can't allow your missed shots to affect what you're going to do on the defensive end. And I thought in the second half, that's exactly what happened.
Could it have been any more jarringly opposite? From Bobby Portis getting whatever he wanted to fall and barking at anyone who would listen and getting in Jaylen Brown's face, to Sam Hauser, who could not buy a single bucket in his return home. And then, look, Sam had that one sequence early fourth quarter, misses 2 threes, looks like he's going to get a little hustle layup and smokes that, and then misses the tip in. At that point, you're like, you know what? Just not your night, right? And credit to the Celtics. They tried to throw one more punch, but they just could not come up with any stops tonight. I don't want to just chalk it up to, they were due for some offensive regression. They've been putting up video game numbers lately, and even the first half wasn't that bad, but man, that second half was abysmal, and then they let it bleed into trying to get defensive stops, and it just was not there tonight. I don't know if it's the time off or whatever the case may be is. Giles, you know how much I love Milwaukee. Maybe that's all it is. But they've got to be better in that instance, and I won't get too worked up about it because they've been so good at avoiding that sort of nonsense over the course of the season. It's just but a little bit of PTSD with the way that when shots aren't falling, how it can bleed the other way.
And speaking of the defense, Kyle Kuzma, season high 31. Bobby Portis, season high 27. They both shot unbelievably from the field. We got Drew and Scal joining us now, fellas, and obviously the Celtics with that 7-point lead at the break, and things really not going their way there in the second half.
Yeah, Giles, it was a pretty shocking second half. Doing my own little arithmetic here, I had the Bucks shooting almost 65% from the floor in the second half, Scal. Was that more about Celtics playing poor defense or guys like Bobby Portis just making shots?
Well, I think it was about momentum, and the Bucks had a game plan today. You could see it right from the start. They've been getting crushed defensively. They've been getting crushed about their rebounding, and obviously the Giannis situation is lingering over them. They want to prove to Giannis and that these guys are pros and you should come want to play with us, not want to go someplace else. So a lot of motivation for them. Give the Bucks credit for knocking down shots. As far as us, I think it's one of those games where the offense and missing shots affected our defense. We never played with great energy defensively in the second half. We did some things right. We were in the right position, but ultimately, you get a guy like Bobby Portis start making shots. It's hard to turn that water off. And if we were on the other end making shots, not even just average, not even as bad as we were, or not even how we've been lately, it would have been a different game. And, I would like us in those clutch situations, but just we went ice cold and they got flaming hot.
Yeah, Celtics missed their first 16 3-point attempts of the second half. 4th longest streak in Celtics history of missed 3-pointers. And, Scal, me personally, I give all the credit for the Bucks' success to that players-only meeting that Giannis led. Said, let's focus on basketball. Which was
how much I love players-only meetings.
Which is the most ridiculous reporting ever when he's the guy deleting everything from his social media and everything. But it is a good reminder about how good the NBA is, because you think about the 3 guys who killed the Celtics today. It's Kevin Porter.
Warmed up with a snapback hat on.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you put that in the laundry or what?
I don't know how that works when it gets all sweaty.
You just throw it away, find a new one?
It was definitely sweaty. He was like, white man can't jump. He had it on backwards. Boom, 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 going through its work. I've never seen that, but okay, so that's one.
He ended up with a triple-double, so it worked for him. So Kevin Porter, Kyle Kuzma had 30-plus, and then Bobby Portis didn't miss a single shot. all guys you would say, come on, they're not gonna kill us. But those were the three dudes that did it for
no,
the
the thing is, those three guys are clearly capable, but is it sustaining? And today it was sustaining for them, and that was a problem. I'm sure the Celtics were trying to match up Hunt and stuff like that, but sometimes you just got to go out there and compete. And I felt like in the second half we kind of lost our edge a little bit.
And do you feel like they've done a better job this year of maintaining pace?
Yeah.
And what worked for them in the first half?
Well, not lately. In the Toronto game, we did the same thing. So I'm not sure what's going on. I know what they're trying to do, the matchup hunting, but there's a better way to get into that. You just want to get into it a lot quicker. It's almost like just play fast and figure out an emphasis to still matchup hunt. But, walking the ball up, getting up against the clock, jacking up a three with 5 seconds to go, it's not great offense, even if you like the matchup.
Yeah. Jaylen Brown still had 30. Jordan Wall still brought incredible energy, Giles. But obviously, second half was all Milwaukee, and it was pretty wild to see in person.
All right. Yeah, a tough one here for the Celtics. And again, snaps that 5-game winning streak as the Bucks go to 11-15 on the year. Celtics fall to 15-10 with a 15-point, which is presented by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Turn it around, take control. It's possible with the solution for weight loss. Reserve your consult at awaken180weightloss.com. The turning point would be halftime. Because as you can see here, the Celtics outscored by 22 in the second half, shot 26% from the field, 3 of 26 from 3. I believe that's somewhere around 12%. And then you see they had more turnovers than assists. And obviously it came down to a lot of the Celtics going ice cold, as Eddie pointed out, that affecting their defense and the Bucks. I don't even know if they got great looks, but they just, as Scal mentioned, the momentum that went into it as well. Giles Forsberg, Eddie back with you here on Celtics Postgame Live. Eddie, as you look at the threes, and we'll take a look at some of the threes in the 16 straight that they missed.
Do we have to?
Yes. Okay. And we have to, I want to know from Eddie, do you think that these were good looks? I know sometimes you talk about them being within rhythm of the offense. How did you feel about some of the looks you were seeing from the Celtics behind the arc in that second half?
I think some of them were cool looks. They were good looks. That's a tough shot right there. If you really look at it, a step back, that's still a contested shot. And I think that's why you look at the assist number. That's a good shot. Offensive rebound, kick out to a 3. That's a good shot right there, too, even though it's a late contest. It's not a real contest. But you got to give the Bucks credit because they were flying at the ball. If you look at all of these highlights right here, they were making the next move, the next everything. It's the next option, the next rotation. They were doing all of those things. And when you look at 12 assists in the first half and only 18 in the second half for the game, I think we got to go to kind of like what Scal was saying, where it was only 6 assists in the second half, and that's due to us matchup hunting. So now guys are catching grenades or guys are playing one-on-one basketball. The ball's not moving, and you're not moving the defense around the way you were doing in the first half. And so I think that that's part of it as well. But, a lot of those threes in the second half weren't great looks. If they go in, cool, because then somebody could get hot. But like Bobby Portis, could get hot. But at the same time, you don't want to live and die by that.
Yeah, I mean, like when you look at Hauser and Anthony Simons combining to go, let's see, 1 of 15 beyond the arc, your bench just didn't give you enough. And not that these starters were much better. Derek and Peyton combining to go 5 for 20. So instances like this, I think we all sit here and say the same thing, right? Like, got to attack the basket more, got to make things happen. I think they actually tried, and it felt like the Bucks' length disrupted them a little bit. Having Keita not on the floor for a whole bunch of minutes. What did Keita play? 25 minutes. It just seemed like the offense bogged down in a way that we haven't seen it. And again, this is a team that over the last 12 games has been putting up video game numbers. 128 offensive rating would be like far and away the best in league history. For whatever reason, when the shots weren't falling, they didn't work hard enough to generate other ways to get offense. And so this is what happens. And I get it, right? Like, we lament the threes that don't go in on the nights where it looks clunky. But if you want to look at it, if you go through, I think whenever the Celtics are below league average on points per possession offensively this season,